Hello and welcome back to the latest edition of the OmniTalk Fast 5. It is February 28th, 2020, and we are coming to you, for those watching us on video, a little less high fidelity today, but we are coming to you live from the OmniTalk headquarters at E-Tail West. How you doing today, Ann?
The Palm Springs edition.
The Palm Springs edition. Carter and Emma are back in the frigid tundra of Minneapolis.
It's holding it down.
Yeah, just holding down the fort at Third House, and it's just Ann and I today.
It is, but I have to say, this is the first time I've been
Ann
to Palm
and me,
Springs.
excuse me, that was poor English.
Oh, how dare you.
I know, right? First time in Palm Springs.
Yeah. I'm taken to this place.
Are you taken to it? Why?
I mean, it's beautiful here. The weather is amazing. We always start with the weather. We're turning into like a regular daily news program.
We do. Well, we have running water in the background, if you can hear it.
Yes.
And you can probably see it as well if you're watching. But yeah, it's just been the two of us all week. How you doing? This is our seventh podcast. Is this our seventh podcast this week?
There's been a lot of content, but I don't know. I thought E-Tail was really cool. This was both of our first time at E-Tail, and the conference did a good job. It's a good size, and a lot of big names attending this conference. We had a lot of incredible interviews. The co-founder and CEO of Third Love. We had the CMO of Poshmark. Head of retail stores from ThredUp.
CMO of Poshmark was awesome. He's like one of my all-time favorite guests.
Yeah, you're my man.
He's a bomb.
Yeah,
I liked it. I liked it. It was a great conference. Great for us too, especially for what we do and getting to meet different people. What was your biggest takeaway? I was thinking about that today.
Ooh.
Somebody nailed it. Some loyal fan actually nailed it for me, and I didn't know. And so I'm excited to talk about that.
But I'm curious. On the spot. I wasn't expecting.
You want me to go first?
Yeah,
okay.
Go first.
So I was kind of taken by the fact that. I didn't know, like, I knew about ThredUp and I knew about Poshmark, but just how strong and powerful and just how interesting of ideas those are, I had no idea, like, until we sat down and we interviewed Heather Craig and we interviewed Steven from Poshmark. The whole idea there in terms of fashion, social commerce, the resale market, and the subscriber that emailed me this morning, Susan Sheffield, she said, "Chris, I loved your podcast. And the reason I really liked it was because it put fashion in a different light." Whereas she said she had just been to London on a trip and everything looked the same. And there's so much data out there that, things are just converging to the middle, especially if you have like a rinse and repeat, type model like brick and mortar retail. But with the resale market and social commerce and, people being able to connect, that's another way for people to still establish their identity even on their own. So it's bringing back what fashion has always been about, which maybe it lost its way. And I thought she really articulated that well in a manner that I had never seen before and kind of put a capstone on the conversations we were having all week, which for me was really elucidating. So, Susan, thanks for that because it was meaningful to me to read that this morning.
Yeah, I think the whole resale, it's not even a trend anymore. I mean, it's just exploding. I think with every interview that we did, everybody was talking about it in all of the sessions. It's to me, it actually reminded me a little bit of grocery shop when we were there, where it was all talk about like scan and go and micro fulfillment. I feel like resale in the e-commerce world is like that's the hot thing. And I heard a statistic the other day, like over 3/4 of retailers within the next year will have a resale component to their business.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then you put the social commerce angle on that too, especially with what Facebook's doing, what Instagram's doing, even how Poshmark's approaching their business and many, many others. And it's going to be really fun to watch. That's a great point. The comparison with grocery of like how are all of the industries and all the verticals across retail changing and what's going to affect each of them. It's going to be different. But yeah, maybe that's what we're starting to see on the fashion side.
And just how they're automating that process or the steps that they're taking to make it simpler. I think it had a lot of friction going into this market, which is why it kind of took a long time for the adoption of that whole concept to kind of come through. But yeah, there's so many things in place now that make that possible to do online and offline.
Yeah. And generationally things have changed and macroeconomically things have changed. And things that people are concerned about have changed. But we've still got an awesome show this week. So there were a lot of great headlines. So just to tease the headlines, we've got some good stories from Walmart, a couple stories from Amazon, not surprising, but they're very, very big. One happens to include Shopify and Facebook, and then one, wait for it, around the latest Toys R Us concept that is breaking news.
Late breaking news.
Hopefully from OmniTalk. But stick around to the end for that one. And let's start by giving a shout out to our sponsors for the Fast Five. Our first sponsor is, of course, Trigo. Trigo is developing the most advanced AI and computer vision-based checkout-free system for the grocery industry. Using standard cameras and proprietary algorithms, Trigo converts real-size stores, introducing a frictionless shopping experience. Together with Tesco, Trigo is currently piloting the world's largest checkout-free store. To learn more, you can visit www.trigo.tech. And also Insignia. Insignia is the leader in in-store and mobile marketing. It's forward-looking and nimble. Insignia pushes the boundaries for others to follow. With a suite of tactics, including signage, merchandising display, and mobile, Insignia is the right partner to attract new shoppers and to grow your business. Insignia, be discovered. And remember, last week we talked about the exciting new competition that Insignia has out at Expo West next week. Yes, Insignia is holding a pitch slam competition. So if you are a new brand attending Expo West, you have until Friday, Ann.
Friday.
When's the deadline?
Tomorrow.
5 p.m.?
5 p.m.
Is that Pacific Standard Time?
Yes.
It is.
Okay.
Pacific Standard Time. That's your deadline if you're listening. So if you're a new brand attending the show, you have till 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to enter Insignia's Pitch Slam competition. And if successful, 5 finalists will be chosen to enter the competition. And the winner, wait for it, the winner will receive $100,000 in free mobile advertising, as well as, and this is the biggest selling point if you ask me, a OmniTalk Spotlight Series podcast interview with Ann and myself.
What could be better?
What's not to love about that?
I mean, the $100,000 is fine, but I mean, you do get an OmniTalk Spotlight Series.
That's
podcast.
right. What if we signed up and we won it ourselves? And who would do the interview? That's like the flex capacitor back
I don't
to the
know.
future. Like,
Yeah.
issues. I don't know how you would
I don't
compute
even
that.
know
Yeah,
what we
it'd be
do.
tough. That'd be hard.
Past selves interview our future selves.
Yeah, the
or
time lapse
something?
continuum.
Bill
is
and Ted
all
style.
messed up.
It'll be
Yeah,
great.
that'd be tough. All right, but we digress. All right, let's start out with Walmart. So I got to tell you, I give mad props to Walmart this week. We put an article in Forbes last week about how Walmart needed to do more than grocery. They need to get innovative, and really they needed to get innovative in terms of helping Americans chase the American dream, quite frankly.
Absolutely.
And what did they do? They did something awesome. They opened up new, basically, healthcare hubs. They're getting into healthcare. So there was a great story by our good friend Matt Boyle at Bloomberg. Shout out to you, Matt. Hope you're listening. But basically, Walmart's going after the $3.6 trillion healthcare industry. Visitors to their Calhoun, Georgia store, as some would also say, can get a $30 medical checkup or a $25 teeth cleaning.
Yes.
Or even talk about their anxieties with a counselor for $1 a minute. No insurance is required. You can just walk in. You can also book your appointments online. And if you need care afterwards, like say you need something at the pharmacy, Walmart's right there. You need to pick up some food to eat healthier. You can also do that as well. So there's 2 current locations planned for Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yep.
What do you think about this, Ann? I kind of love this.
Yeah, I mean, there's still, I forget what the statistic was. I'm trying to find it on my phone, but there's still so many people I think it's like 30 million people in the country that don't have insurance. So to be able to go in and and this is like primary care. I think that's one of the key differentiators here with what Walmart's doing. This is not just like minute clinic stuff. This is an actual primary care doctor. You can have an appointment and dentists. Yeah. I mean,
open on Sundays too. I should have said that.
Right. And mental health. Like
right.
I love what this is doing.
Full
it actually,
service.
It reminded me a lot of, when I was giving a talk earlier in this fall.
Yeah.
I was thinking about what this also unlocks for the shopper. Like I had a picture, like just kind of joking around, like you're sitting there waiting for your strep test to come back. But while you're doing that, you're getting your like chicken noodle soup, you're getting your Gatorade, you're getting your cough drops and your like Sudafed and all the things. You're doing that. And it's being picked for you while you're waiting for your strep test to come through. Like that's already a function of Walmart's app right now. And so being able to do some of those things while you're, at a doctor's appointment with your kids, like that's amazing. To be able
you're right.
to
That's a great point. Like say you need a prescription and you have kids in tow or your kid's sick and
right.
There it is. It's ready. You don't have to go drive to another, pharmacy to make that happen. Yeah, that's it's pretty sweet. It's pretty compelling. It's also, you also know the prices up front. Like, what do you think about that whole angle? Like, it's like the one medical experience where you go in and you actually know what you're going to pay before you get the work done instead of like waiting for that bill, 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah, being able to just, show up pay cash, be done, and not worrying about like, okay, what does the insurance process? What are you going to end up paying? How far are you into your deductible? Like, I think even people with insurance will be using this just because of the sheer convenience of it. So
yeah, it's cool. It's like you see Walmart now taking kind of the flywheel approach, which is how does it use its massive scale and its massive power to reinvest in things or in services that are for just the good of everyone involved, and that will keep people coming back over and over again, even if maybe say it's not as big of a profit center as people would potentially like, but it keeps them stickier to the Walmart brand.
Right.
All right, Ann, you want to head to story number 2?
So story number 2, I'm going to pull up on your computer.
Yeah, we'll switch computers here.
Amazon announced, actually, for the listeners, Chris announced at 4:00 in the morning 2 days ago.
I did.
That
I got so excited about this. I woke up out of bed. I don't know why. I just think I knew it was coming.
It happened.
It did happen.
That's what you said.
So is that what I told you? I said, and it happened?
Yes.
Oh my God,
I was like,
such a dork.
this is really important to get up at 4:00 in the morning Pacific time for. Amazon opened their first full-size Go style grocery store in Seattle this week. So there's
how big is it, Ann?
How big is it? It is 10,400 square feet. It is a full-size cashierless grocery store. Amazon Go technology. Every item in the store is priced individually, which is a very important part of both our conversation at 4:15 a.m. when I understood what the full concept was, and for people to understand as they are like the mechanics of how the store is actually working. So
yes, we debated eaches versus bulk for about half an hour.
We talked about
on
bananas
Tuesday morning. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
By the eaches.
But yeah, you don't have to weigh anything in the store, right?
You don't have to weigh
priced
anything.
By the piece.
They have a good assortment of grab and go, like the Go stores do now. But then they also have your traditional grocery store items, everything from donuts to bulk produce, to like the fresh misted like produce areas, like the lettuce, fresh herbs and those kinds of things.
Reportedly, yeah. How many SKUs, Ann?
5,000.
So 10,000 square feet and 5,000 SKUs.
5,000 SKUs, a combined set of SKUs from both Amazon's own brands. You can still get your Jif or GIF peanut butter.
Yeah, right. Just that was awesome this week.
But all at plus some Whole Foods brands. So most of the produce is being sourced from their Whole Foods resources.
Nice. So I talked to 2 people, actually 3 people. I talked to 3 separate people that visited this store, and there are a lot of people poo-pooing this online.
Yeah.
And for those of you that are poo-pooing this online, I have one big word to say to you: don't. 3 people I talked to all went in and they were pretty blown away with just how well the store worked. It's a bigger checkout free experience. It now works at 10,000 square feet. It works across 5,000 items. Is it the full experience still? No, it is not. Do we know how it works for larger basket sizes? No, we do not. But it's the first store. It's been open like 2 days. So Amazon's only going to get better. Here's the important things to recognize here. We've been studying checkout free retail for a while. 10,000 square feet is big. In terms of the computer processing power that's required to run that store, that takes a hell of a computational load, and it's probably pretty darn expensive. And someone like Amazon is probably the only one that can afford that, or is at least willing to take the investment on that, because they're always playing the long game. The other thing is, right now, from our understanding, 5,000 SKUs is probably the upper bound of what can be processed. So there's still more to come. There's still more to come to see how this merges with our third story, which is their other grocery concept that's debuting in California. But the fact is, they're pushing the boundary as far as they can on how far this technology can go. And yet, we don't have another freaking live example of this anywhere that I can think of open to the public. The closest one is probably 7-Eleven. Tesco's trying some things. Ahold trying some things. We've got a few smaller nano stores, but no one is doing this at the same pace and scale as Amazon. So when is the retail industry going to get off their butt and realize we need to start experimenting with this, because Amazon is pushing these boundaries and figuring out how to make it work?
Yeah. I mean, the thing that baffles me is you still have people who are talking about like, well, there's shrink. There's problems in here.
That almost drove me nuts.
And I think like there was a story, I don't know if you saw it, but there was like a reporter that went into the store, went into the bathroom in the back, switched coats and tried to see if he could trick the system. And apparently he went to press 2 hours later and they only charged him for an avocado that he left outside the bathroom. But I mean, it's figuring it out. It's I don't know. The shrink argument is ridiculous to me too. And the speed at which they're going to still be able to learn and get better at this by this 10,000 square foot deployment is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't get that argument at all because I don't understand how you have worse shrink with a controlled entry and exit, and then with all the cameras in the ceiling watching everything you do. Plus, people probably just aren't going to want to come in there too, which is the point some of the checkout free retail solutions have been making for years. So yeah, and again, to make that a reason for you not to experiment with this, it's just, I don't know. I just think it's silly. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. We actually may need to go to Seattle too.
Yes.
Dallas is on our list, but we got to go to Seattle too. All right, the other thing that happened in Amazon news, this is also big, and it's something we've been predicting for some time now, but it appears that Amazon is going to open a micro-fulfillment center in their California store. So reports are that Dematic will be responsible for the micro-fulfillment center on site in about 7,200 square feet in the perimeter of the Amazon supermarket in California. That represents about 21% of the approximately 33,000 square feet of the total store. Now, we all know this. We've talked about it a lot, but the big advantage here is with micro-fulfillment, it reduces your picking costs through automation by about 75%. At least that's what some experts are saying from, I believe it's Jeffries, if I'm not mistaken. And we've talked about it with Takeoff. We've talked about it with Alert Innovation. There's also AutoStore out there. Lots of companies doing this. Now Amazon's doing it in their grocery store.
Big win for Dematic. I mean, holy cow. They're, company out of Michigan, they did a pilot with Meijer, right?
Yeah, Meier's
not too
using
long
them too,
ago.
or they're starting it, yeah.
And now this is a huge get for them. Unbelievable. Hopefully for them it works out because this is going to scale like crazy, we know, obviously.
And every new, you have to assume now that we don't know about the checkout free side of this grocery store, but it's all electronic shelf labels. It's separating shopping from buying. You have this thing on site, so every new Amazon grocery store that is built, you have to assume is going to have this type of technology in it.
Right.
So they can pick and pack faster and are closer to the customer from a last mile standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, what was so funny to me when I was researching this story, I found this headline that somebody wrote that said, grocers urged to move with haste in automating online grocery fulfillment. Like, yeah, no shit. You better get your stuff together. Sorry, we're getting the explicit rating. But I mean, yeah, if you're not exploring this and you're in the grocery business, I don't know what to tell you anymore. Good luck.
Yeah, we said this was going to explode 3 to 4-fold at the beginning of the year, but my God, now it's going to be like the number of test implementations are going to be like, I don't know, probably 10 to 20-fold by the time this year's over.
For sure.
All right, this next story is pretty cool.
So the next story is Shopify is joining the Libra team at Facebook.
And what's Libra?
For those of you who don't know, Libra is Facebook's own currency that they are trying to get passed. It's still not officially gone through, but
the global digital cryptocurrency.
Thank you. A global digital cryptocurrency. The current supporters in Facebook's Libra alliance are people like Shopify, who just joined, PayU, Farfetch, Lyft, Spotify, Uber, and the like. Basically, this is news because Shopify has over 1 million merchants in 175 countries. So for them to be able to have something like Libra that allows them to have transactions taking place between users with zero to very little or the ability to have transparent fees, instead of going with, former companies that were on this like Visa and MasterCard, they backed out of this whole Libra team, which makes sense.
Right. PayPal too.
There's not a lot for them to get out of this anymore. So big move by Shopify. As we know, Shopify powers so many both online and offline stores right now that would be a huge change for them.
Well, and big move by Facebook too, right? To get somebody with that type of commerce power potentially behind this, especially when you said like companies like PayPal and MasterCard have kind of taken their seat away. They've basically come off this board of advisors or whatever it is that they're talking about, and that's to think about, okay, what happens in a world which, like we just talked about in the beginning, social commerce powered by now a digital currency that Facebook is also in control of. What does that mean globally? What does that mean for governments? There are a whole host of things here. To see somebody like Shopify actually say, hey, you know what, we're going to potentially invest in this or be a part of this. That's going to be one we have to watch pretty damn
Oh,
closely,
for
I would
sure.
imagine.
Oh, for sure.
All right,
Absolutely.
the last story. We'll close this up here. This last story caught our eye. So on, as Ann was joking, on Tuesday I woke up and was looking at...
I'm not joking. That was was a real
thing.
thing.
It really happened. It really happened. But the other thing I did, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday night, I actually was just scrolling through different people's LinkedIn feeds because I just like to keep up to date on what they're all doing. And what I noticed was that Philip Raab, I hope I'm saying that correctly, one of the founders of Beta.
Yes.
And most recently, as his title is stated in the media, I went and checked this, the co-interim CEO of the new Toys R Us store.
Who was the other interim CEO?
Richard Berry, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
He was the interim co-CEO of these
Sure.
two stores. They opened 2 stores over the holidays. It looks, according to LinkedIn, that he is no longer in that position. He exited that position in December. The big question is, okay, what does that mean? I tried to get clarification from Philip, from Toys R Us, from Beta as well. I could not get any confirmation whether he had left that role. And I also could not get any confirmation around any of what that could mean. So the big questions that I have...
Yeah, what does it mean for you?
Big questions I have are, okay, 1, is he in the role? 2, if he's not in the role, what does that mean for the relationship with Beta? Is that still continuing forward? And also, probably more importantly, what did it mean for the overall success of the concept over these past few months, especially in the holidays, and especially in the backdrop of the fact that most retailers like Walmart, Target, were not reporting particularly strong toy sales,
Right.
although Amazon appeared to have done pretty well. So there's a lot we don't know here. We're going to continue to follow this story, but it's something we noticed. It's something we wanted to break for you because we know people care about that brand. We know people care about Toys R Us and how that product was brought to market in terms of the model and retail as a service in concert with Beta. Those are important things to watch because that model is often talked about as potentially, being foundational. You hear retail as a service being foundational to retail overall, especially when you look at smaller footprints and smaller stores inside mall type settings or even, ground level retail.
Yeah, it could be huge news. We'll keep everybody posted as we hear more from those teams.
Yeah, hopefully more will develop here soon. All right, well, that closes us up. Whew, what a week.
What a week.
What do you got planned for the weekend?
Wild. Well, we are taking a much needed break at OmniTalk with our spouses. We're going to stay out here in Palm Springs. No reason to go back to
You guys
Minneapolis.
are going to force me to
right
hike
now.
this weekend, aren't you?
We're gonna go to Joshua Tree. We're gonna have some experiences that will change our lives. I hope we're gonna listen to some Pearl Jam on the way. It'll be amazing. Oh no, it's you too.
You too. Yeah.
U2.
Jeez, that's the second time.
Oh my
we've done
god,
that.
it's such an embarrassment. For as big of a music buff as I am, I screwed that up twice.
Yeah, I can't.
Twice in one
I can't believe you
weekend.
guys are dragging me to Joshua Tree. I guess it's fitting since we just interviewed the CEO of Moose Jaw that now I have to go do some outdoor adventuring.
We're gonna do so many outdoor things. We're gonna turn into the most outdoor adventurers ever.
Will there be margaritas involved this weekend?
Absolutely.
Okay, then I'm in.
Every day.
I think I can handle that. We've also got, I think when we get back to, I'm excited about taking a little break with Mr. and Mrs. Omni Talk, but yeah, I'm excited. We got a big March ahead of us too. So,
Yes.
if you're a loyal follower, we've got some really good content. We've got a few great companies lined up already on the podcasting side. And then we head into Shop Talk in 3 weeks.
Yes.
And we've got some great guests lined up there already. Let you know more about that here
Yeah.
as the weeks go on. But yeah, I think this March is going to be even busier than February. So if you liked our content, be ready for even more.
Yeah, we're going to get our second wind this weekend, and then it's on.
It's back at
It's
it.
March Madness, but for retail.
So is it on like Donkey Kong?
I never said that,
Can we
and
actually
I wish
say
you
that?
hadn't.
Oh, really? I don't even know what that means, but whoever came up with that, it's great.
All right.
On that note, as always, be careful out there.